the twins who got married. Unknown to them, they are twins, but Temilola and Temitope got married. What will they do when they find out? Will they stay married? Please join us as we find out how they got separated, married, and if they live happily after.
In the magnificent land of Oyla, a village blessed with lush fields and towering baobab trees, there lived a young woman named Sade. Her beauty was unparalleled, so striking that it became the talk of the village. A villager whispering to another,
"She must be a spirit in disguise. No mortal can possess such beauty."
Another with a hint of jealousy replied,
"Perhaps she thinks herself too good for anyone here. Look at how she walks, so proud and untouchable."
Sade keeps her head high, her face calm and composed, though there is a hint of sadness in her eyes. She continues past the market, turning onto a quiet path leading to her small hut on the outskirts of the village. Despite her allure, Sade lived a life shadowed by loneliness. The villagers, especially the young women, whispered behind her back, driven by a blend of jealousy and fascination.
Many have tried to win her heart, offering silks and jewelry, but she turns them all away.
They say she's waiting for a love that stirs her soul. As if anyone could be worthy of such perfection.
Sade's choice to wait for a love that truly moved her spirit made her a figure of gossip and envy. Yet beneath the noise of the village, she lived quietly, burdened by a heart that longed for true connection. It was on a balmy afternoon, with the sun casting golden hues across Oyla, that Sade's life took an unexpected turn. A gentle breeze rustles the fabric around Bayo, and Sadie's breath catches. The two are drawn to each other, as if by an invisible thread. Bayo smiles, a warm, genuine smile that makes Sadie's heart race.
"You must have grown these yams yourself. They look as perfect as the land they come from."
Sade, usually so composed, finds herself smiling back, her cheeks flushing slightly. With a soft laugh, Sade replies,
"Yes, they are from my farm. It's the soil, I think. It blesses us with bounty."
Their conversation starts with the ordinary, the price of yams, the unpredictability of the weather, but there is a deep and inexplicable connection between them, as if their souls have known each other before. The following week was a whirlwind of emotions for Sad. Each day, she found herself drawn to Bayo, meeting him in quiet places, exchanging dreams, laughter, and unspoken promises. The sun sets, painting the sky with colors of pink and orange. Bayo stands with Sade, his face shadowed with sadness. He holds her hands, his grip firm yet gentle.
"My heart wishes to stay, but duty calls me away. Business does not wait, but I promise I'll return soon."
Sade's eyes well up with tears, but she forces a brave smile. She nods, trying to be strong.
"I'll wait for you, Bayo. Take care, and come back to me."
As Bayo left, he took a piece of Sade's heart with him, leaving her with only memories and a newfound ache she couldn't shake. Days turned into weeks, and weeks into a month. Sade found herself wandering to the places she and Bayo had shared, hoping against hope that he would return. Sade sighs, her shoulders heavy with sorrow. She walks away, her footsteps slow and uncertain, as if leaving behind a piece of herself with every step. Each evening, Sade would sit by her window, her heart yearning for the one who had captured it so completely. But Bayo never returned. Village women gathered near the market, their voices low but full of judgmental glee.
See how she walks around, distracted and sad. Even a beauty like her is not immune to heartbreak.
Serves her right, thinking she's too good for any of the men here.
Sadie walks past the women, her head held high, but her eyes betraying her inner turmoil. She hears their whispers and feels their stares, but she keeps moving, determined not to let them see her pain. Next morning, Sade kneels in her small garden, tending to her herbs and yams. The morning sun is gentle and birds chirp in the distance. Suddenly, a wave of nausea washes over her, and she doubles over, clutching her stomach. Sade gasping.
"Oh, no."
She takes a deep, shaky breath, her hand trembling as she places it over her belly. Her eyes widen with the sudden realization, her heart pounding in her chest. A wave of nausea unlike anything she had ever experienced overcame her, and a terrifying realization struck her. She was with child. Sade stands slowly, her hand still protectively over her stomach. Fear and uncertainty cloud her face as she stares down at her belly, her mind racing with questions and dread. Sade whispering, her voice cracking.
How? Can I raise this child alone?
Her eyes fill with tears as she looks around, imagining the judgment she will face. Her mind swirled with fear. How could she raise a child alone in a society that judged unmarried mothers so harshly? The whispers and judgment she had faced before would pale in comparison to what awaited her now. Sadie sinks to her knees in the garden, her face a mixture of sorrow and desperation. Sade struggled to process the life growing within her. Her pregnancy, though beautiful, was a secret that threatened to shatter the life she knew. Sade stands in front of a cracked mirror, her hands resting on her growing belly. She wears a loose, oversized dress, but the change in her figure is becoming harder to conceal. Her reflection glows with the aura of impending motherhood, yet her eyes are shadowed with worry. Sad struggled to process the life growing within her. Her pregnancy, though beautiful, was a secret that threatened to shatter the life she knew. Sade pulls her dress tighter around her, trying to hide her changing body. She takes a deep breath, her fingers trembling, and steps outside. The market is alive with activity. Women sell fresh produce, and children chase each other through the stalls. A group of market women huddle together, their eyes darting toward Sade as she walks by.
Have you noticed how Sade has changed? There's something different about her.
Maybe it's a curse, or perhaps she's carrying the child of a spirit.
Sade quickens her pace, her head bowed. She hears snippets of the gossip, her heart pounding. The whispers grow louder, weaving tales of curses, river gods, and forbidden secrets. The rumors spiraled out of control, and the more Sade withdrew, the more the villagers gossiped, feeding off their collective curiosity. Sade sits on her bed, her hands resting gently on her belly. Her eyes are filled with tears, and the loneliness of the night presses down on her. She whispers to her belly,
Little one, you are my light in this darkness. I promise I will protect you, no matter what.
She closes her eyes, drawing comfort from the tiny life growing inside her. The fear is still there, but so is a growing sense of determination. Sade felt trapped, drowning in her own dread. The whispers of the villagers grew louder, and she knew that soon she would have to make a choice. Each passing day hardened her resolve. She knew she could not stay in Oyo, not if she wanted to protect her unborn child from a world that had always judged her so harshly. Sade's world had grown small and desolate. Her garden, once full of life, had begun to wither from neglect, and the laughter that used to ring from her small hut had long disappeared. Loneliness enveloped her, and the feeling of isolation grew stronger every day. She no longer visited the market, too afraid to face the judgmental eyes of the villagers. Sade's shoulders shake as she begins to cry, her voice breaking in the quiet of the night. Sade whispers,
Where are you? Bayo? Did you truly leave me? Or was our love just an illusion?
In that moment, Sade knew she had to make a decision. She could not let her child suffer for her own mistakes. Sade awoke with her heart heavy yet resolute. The time had come to leave Oyo, to seek refuge in a place where she and her unborn child would be safe. Sade takes a deep breath and begins to gather her few belongings. She carefully folds pieces of clothing and places them in a large cloth, along with a small bundle of yams and dried fish. Finally, she picks up a wooden carving of her late mother, holding it close to her chest.
Mama, give me strength. Watch over us as we go.
Sade pauses, her eyes sweeping over the familiar space. She remembers her childhood, running under the mango tree outside, and nights spent dancing under the stars with friends who were now distant and estranged. Little Sade, carefree and laughing, chasing butterflies in the garden. Sadie as a teenager, twirling in the moonlight, her laughter echoing in the night. The flashbacks fade, and Sadie's eyes glisten with unshed tears. Her heart ached at the thought of leaving it all behind, but she knew there was no other way. The safety of her child came first. As dust settled over the village, Sade set out quietly, her heart pounding with each step. Each stride carried her closer to an uncertain future. The road ahead is long and winding, disappearing into the shadows of the forest. The wind rustles the leaves, and the trees seem to whisper their farewells. Sade clutches her belly, her fingers trembling, as she speaks softly to her unborn child.
We'll be all right. I promise you. We'll find a place where we can be free.
The stars twinkle above, lighting her path like silent guardians. Sade takes a deep breath, her fear and hope intertwined as she steps forward, leaving everything she has ever known behind. The dense forest looms on either side of a winding dirt path. Sade trudges along, her steps heavy and labored. Her feet are sore, her face lined with exhaustion, and her swollen belly makes each step a test of endurance. The shadows cast by the towering trees shift in the fading daylight, whispering secrets as the wind passes through the leaves. The journey was arduous, and Sade's body, weary from both the miles she had traveled and the strain of her pregnancy, begged for rest. But she pressed on, driven by the need to protect the life growing within her. Sade pauses, leaning against a tree to catch her breath. Her eyes scan the forest, her heart pounding at every rustling sound. The distant calls of animals send shivers down her spine, but she clenches her jaw and pushes forward. The sky is painted with hues of gold and crimson as the sun begins to set. Ahead, Sade spots an old woman named Tolu, struggling under the weight of a heavy bundle of firewood balanced on her head. The woman's frail body trembles with the effort, her back bent from years of labor. Sade's eyes soften with empathy, and she musters the last of her strength to approach the woman.
Let me help you.
Thank you, child.
Sade carefully takes the bundle of firewood from Tolu, her arms straining under the weight. The two women walk together in silence, the quiet punctuated only by the rustle of leaves underfoot. Sade carried the bundle alongside the old woman, their burdens different yet deeply felt. The forest, though still vast and shadowed, seemed a little less daunting with company.
My name is Tolu. And who might you be, dear one?
Sade hesitates, her guard still up, but something about Tolu feels safe, like a mother's embrace. She glances at the old woman and, for the first time in days, allows herself to trust.
I'm Sade.
Tolu nods, her eyes glinting with an understanding that goes beyond words. She doesn't pry or ask questions, but there is a knowing in her expression, as if she can see the pain Sade carries.
Come. You look like you could use some rest. And I have a home, not far from here. You are welcome to stay with me.
Sade's eyes widen with relief and disbelief. Her shoulders sag, and she clutches her belly protectively. She looks into Tolu's kind eyes and feels a flicker of hope.
Thank you so much.
The two women continue down the path, side by side, as the sun sets completely, leaving only the stars and a whispering breeze to guide them forward. Sade followed Tolu down the path, her heart lifting with the thought of a warm place to rest. But what caught her attention most were the cats. Dozens of them, each with eyes that seemed to hold secrets of their own. Tolu chuckles softly, noticing Sade's curious expression.
Ah, yes, my companions. They keep me company and guard this place better than any guard dog ever could.
Sade's lips curve into a small smile, her shoulders relaxing as she watches a pair of kittens playfully chase each other. The peaceful scene brings her a sense of calm she hasn't felt in weeks. Tolu motions for Sade to sit on a soft mat near the fire. A pot of stew simmers over the flames, and Tolu ladles the rich, fragrant meal into a bowl, handing it to Sade.
Eat. You need strength for both yourself and the life you carry.
Sade takes the bowl, the warmth of the stew soothing her tired body. She eats slowly, savoring the meal and feeling the exhaustion melt away. The firelight dances across Tolu's face as she studies Sade, her eyes seeming to see beyond the surface.
You carry a heavy burden,
Sade's hands tremble slightly, and she sets the bowl down, her throat tightening. She blinks back tears, the weight of her struggles pressing down on her. The warmth and safety of Tolu's home make her feel, for the first time, that she might be able to share her pain. Something about Tolu made Sadie feel safe enough to speak the truth she had kept buried deep inside. Sadie takes a deep breath, her voice shaken but determined. Whispering.
I don't even know where to begin.
Tolu leans forward, her expression one of understanding and patience. The fire crackles softly, filling the silence. As Sadie finally begins to share her story, the fire crackles softly, casting warm, flickering light across the room. Sade sits across from Tolu, her eyes glistening with tears. Her voice shakes as she pours out her heart, recounting the love she had found and lost, the judgment of the villagers, and the fear that had driven her from Oyo. Tolu listens intently, her hands folded in her lap, her wise eyes full of compassion.
I was so afraid. So afraid that the world would never accept my child or me. I had no choice but to run.
Tolu nods, her face gentle and understanding. She leans forward slightly, never interrupting, letting Sade's story flow freely. As Sade finishes, her shoulders slump with exhaustion, but a sense of relief washes over her. The heavy burden she had carried alone is now shared. Tolu reaches out, taking Sade's trembling hand in hers. Her voice is soft, full of warmth and reassurance.
Child, you are braver than you know. The world can be cruel, but there is kindness in unexpected places. And you have come to the right one. If you wish to stay, you are welcome here. We will care for each other, and I will help you bring your child into this world safely.
Sade's lips tremble as she fights back tears, overwhelmed by Tolu's generosity. She nods, her voice thick with emotion. Sade whispers,
Thank you, Ma. I don't know how to repay your kindness.
Tolu chuckles, her laughter soft and comforting.
Kindness is its own reward. Besides, it seems my little ones have already taken a liking to you.
Sad laughs, the sound light and genuine, as if a weight has been lifted from her chest. It's the first time in weeks she has felt a spark of joy. Later that night, Sade lies on a soft mat beside the hearth. She places her hand on her belly, feeling her baby kick gently. Her eyes are filled with determination and hope. Sade whispering,
We are safe. We are safe. And we will survive.
With Tolu's guidance, Sade began to adapt to her new life in Irinajo. The village was smaller and quieter than Oyo, but full of life in its own way. Sade walks through the village, smiling to a group of children playing nearby. They giggle and wave back, but a few market women whisper behind their hands, watching her with narrowed eyes. Tolu taught Sade to work the land, planting and harvesting crops. The labor was hard, but it gave Sade a sense of purpose she had long craved. Tolu watches Sade with a proud smile. As the crops grew, Sade began selling them at the village market, setting up a stall beside Tolu's. Her beauty, even with the changes brought on by pregnancy, drew attention. Men approach Sade's stall, some buying vegetables they don't need just to catch a glimpse of her glowing face. They exchange flirtatious smiles and make excuses to linger.
Sade, your vegetables must taste as sweet as your smile. I'll take 3 bundles.
Sade laughs politely, handing over the produce. Her smile is genuine, but there's a hint of sadness in her eyes.
The gods must have blessed her. Look at that glow, even in her condition.
A group of market women stand a few stalls away, watching Sade with envious eyes. They whisper among themselves, their faces twisted with jealousy.
Look at her, acting so innocent. She thinks she's better than the rest of us, drawing all that attention.
She's hiding something. Mark my words, there's more to her story than she lets on.
Sade hears the whispers but keeps her head high, refusing to let their judgment break her spirit. She continues to work, her hands steady as she arranges her produce. Despite the whispers and judgment, Sade found a strange sense of contentment. Her life with Tolu was simple but fulfilling, and she found herself smiling more often.
I hope you're out there. Theo, I hope you haven't forgotten me.
Sade whispers to herself.
We'll keep moving forward. We have to...
As the months went by, Sade's pregnancy became more visible, but it only seemed to enhance her beauty. Her radiant glow and calm strength captivated the villagers, particularly the men. In the late afternoon, as the sun begins to dip, casting a golden light over the village, Sade packs up her stall, lifting a heavy basket of produce with effort. As she struggles, a young man approaches. Adadayo, a handsome, kind-hearted farmer, steps forward with a gentle smile.
You work hard. It must be difficult doing this alone.
Sade pauses, her eyes meeting Adadayo. She hesitates, wary of kindness, but his sincerity is clear. She nods, and he takes the basket from her, carrying it with ease.
Thank you. It's not often that someone offers to help.
They walk together down the path, the weight of the basket lightened by Adadayo's assistance. As they walk, he speaks of the harvest, the village, and his dreams for the future. His kindness was a balm to Sade's heart, a reminder that not everyone in the world was full of judgment. Adadayo glances at Sade, his eyes filled with admiration and respect.
If you ever need help, I'm here. The village isn't always kind, but there are good people too.
Sade's smile grows a little wider. For the first time in what feels like forever, she feels a flicker of hope, a small but bright light pushing back the shadows of her past. Sade replies with a hint of gratitude.
Thank you, Adadayo. I appreciate it.
The days turned into weeks, and Sade's belly grew heavier. Her time was coming soon, and anxiety gripped her heart like a vice. Sade closes her eyes, memories of her late mother flooding her mind, gentle hands, soothing words, and the comfort she can no longer reach. She opens her eyes, her gaze softening as she watches Tolu, who bustles around the hut with a quiet strength that has become Sade's anchor. A storm rages, rain lashing against the windows of Tolu's hut, and wind howling through the trees. Lightning flashes, illuminating the darkened sky. Sade is jolted awake by a sudden, intense pain. Her hand flies to her belly, and she grips the edge of her mat. Her breath coming in short, panicked gasps. Tolu rushes to her side, her expression serious but calm. Sade gasping.
It hurts.
Tolu, kneeling beside her.
Breathe, child. Breathe. You are strong. You can do this.
Sade tries to focus on her breathing, but her body trembles with the intensity of the contractions. The storm outside mirrors the chaos within her, the thunder crashing as pain tears through her body.
The ancestors are with you. You are not alone.
Tolu holds up a tiny and wriggling baby girl, her face radiant with relief and joy. She smiles through her tears, Tolu announcing,
"It's a girl."
Sade weeps, overwhelmed with exhaustion and love, as Tolu places the baby in her arms. Sade cradles her daughter close, her voice breaking with emotion. Sade whispers. Sade weeps, overwhelmed with exhaustion and love, as Tolu places the baby in her arms. Sade cradles her daughter close, her voice breaking with emotion. Sade whispers.
Temilola, mine is wealth.
Sade kisses her daughter's forehead, her tears falling onto the baby's soft skin. But before she can catch her breath, another wave of pain crashes over her. Her eyes widen in shock. Sade's body tenses as she realizes her labor is not over. Tolu's eyes widen with surprise, and she quickly springs into action, her hands working expertly. Tolu gasping.
"There's another one."
The intensity of the moment heightens. Sade screams again, her voice filled with desperation and exhaustion. Moments later, another cry fills the room, as loud and strong as the first. Tolu holds up a baby boy, her expression a mixture of awe and concern.
"It's a boy."
Sade, whispering.
Temitope, mine is worthy of thanks.
Sade's hands tremble as she holds her twins close, her mind racing with the implications. The storm begins to calm outside, but the storm within her rages on as she fears for what the future holds for her and her newborn children. The joy of welcoming her twins into the world was immediately tempered by the harsh reality of the society they lived in. In Oyo, twins were considered a curse, an omen of misfortune that brought ruin to their families. Saidi's eyes dart around the room, her mind racing with worry as she recalls the cruel punishments inflicted on mothers of twins. Her grip on her babies tightens, her body trembling. Tolu kneels beside Said, her face lined with concern and determination. She places a gentle but firm hand on Said's shoulder, her voice calm but urgent.
We must be careful. Said, the village cannot know about the twins. It would put all of our lives at risk.
What do we do, Ma? How do we keep them safe?
Tolu takes a deep breath, her eyes narrowing as she begins to form a plan. She has seen suffering before and knows the danger they face, but she is determined to protect these children. Watch out for part 2. As the weight of the myths and taboos surrounding twins crashes down on them, fear takes root in their hearts. What will Tolu and Sade do to save themselves and the twins? Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe to our channel.